Greetings everyone, Barrett here with Hammerhead Model Making, back with another 5-minute review. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Arma Hobby 148 scale P-39Q. And this is a kit that I picked up from the hobby shop because it has a very specific set of markings that I was interested in acquiring. And I've been hearing a lot of really good things about this kit in particular, but basically just Arma Hobby releases in general over the last year and 2 years. And so it kind of worked out that it was like, okay, I can try out this new kit. It's got the markings that I want, and I was really looking forward to taking a look at this kit. Now, surface level, if you're familiar with the older Eduard P39, P400 series of kits, you might think this just looks like a copy of the Eduard kit. And again, I would agree just on the surface level, but as you start looking at the actual kit, I think there's quite a few differences that make this one stand out from the Eduard kit. One of the things that I noticed right off the bat is the separate control surfaces, so flaps, rudder, ailerons, things like that. They are posable. You do get a little bit more detail in the interior of the wing, so all of the air intakes for the radiator and the oil coolers and things like that, the wheel wells, that kind of stuff. It generally has overall more detail. The surface detail is probably about the same in terms of just this one's not completely covered in rivets like you would see on a newer Eduard release. It's still pretty constrained in that type of detail, but the surface detail is pretty nice, pretty sharp, pretty crisp, and not overly done. The interior detail seems nice and appropriate for what it's trying to represent. I did notice a little bit of flash on my kit, but nothing that can't be quickly rectified with a sharp blade. And one thing to note on this, that none of the gun barrels, exhaust, thing like that are, they're not using any slide molding technology on this, so you will have to drill out gun barrels. Well, you don't have to, but if you want to increase the realism, you can drill out the gun barrels, drill out the exhaust, things like that. I think it'll help make the kit just look that much sharper, but overall the detail is quite nice. All the appropriate things that you would expect to be there are there, and the clear parts are crystal clear. I find no issue with the clear parts, and even on some of the more compound curved parts of the main canopy, they maintain clarity pretty well. There's kind of one area on the back portion of the canopy that has some distortion, but all things considered, it's very impressive, very nice, and very good distinction between the clear parts and the frames as well, so it should make painting easier. You do get a set of resin main landing gear wheel covers. I couldn't really find any major difference between the plastic part and the resin part. I think maybe the resin part is just slightly thinner in its profile, but other than that, the detail looks pretty much identical. So, cool, I guess. You do get this errata card with a couple of vents that you're supposed to apply to the kit. So again, nice that they do provide that. They provide that way to correct something. You do get a set of steel bearings to act as nose weight, and there's a very specific part in the kit to receive those bearings, so very nice attention to detail. You do get a set of pre-cut canopy and wheel masks, as well as decals for 3 different marking options plus full stencil data, and these are printed by Cartograph. They seem a little on the glossy side to me, but other than that, they seem really nice. The registry is great. Couldn't find any issues that way. So, and in general, you can expect good things from Cartograph. Now, taking a quick look at the instructions, they're going to be laid out exactly how you'd expect them to be. You work on the cockpit. You can see there where the steel bearings go in for the nose weight. Wings come together. Depending on marking options, it shows you where you need to fill in certain gun ports and some other panel lines, things like that. But the rest of the build goes pretty much as you would expect. There are some detailed instructions on how you install the nose gear. That's going to be a little bit of a complex structure going in there. But everything else seems pretty standard. You get stencil data and then your markings options. So it does come with colorful marking options. The one that I'm picking there is that middle one, is Old Crow, Bud Anderson's very first aircraft. So overall, I'm quite impressed with the kit. I think it looks really nice. I think it has a lot of appropriate detail. I think if I had to pick a criticism, and this is more of just like a nitpick, but it would have been nice to have seen like the exhaust stacks and the gun barrels, using some slide molding so they'd be open. Other than that, I think it looks like a fantastic kit, and it's gonna run you a little bit more than the older Edward kits. So just be aware of that, be prepared for that. But based on word of mouth and everything I've seen so far, I think the kit builds up really nicely and looks good. The inclusion of like canopy masks, resin printed parts, the included nose weights is a big deal because this is a very tail heavy model. I think those are all like nice value added by Arma Hobby. So I will be excited to get this one on the workbench and get it built up. Huge shout out to my patrons for helping support the channel and allowing me to bring content like this to you. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and hit the like button. Let me know what you think of the kit down below. If you've built it before, I'd love to hear from you. See if you have any pointers for me, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye, everyone.